Here's how to make pinecone flower ornaments. So first, get a wood slice. You can usually get these in a pack from the craft store. And you're going to drill a hole near the top of where you want the top of your ornament to be. I'm using a 3/16 drill bit, and notice I have a piece of wood underneath my wood slice so I don't drill through my table. And then we need a pine cone. Make sure it's small enough to fit on your wood slice, and we're going to cut it in half. One question I get all the time is, how do you cut the pine cones? The answer is use loppers like this. They are giant, but they do the job because handheld ones aren't usually strong enough. So stick the pine cone in the loppers, press down, and then use your hand to twist it off. There's a flower. And you could use a couple different style pine cones. See, here's a close-up of another one. Different kind of pine cones are going to give you different kinds of flowers. So test a couple different ones out and see which one you like the best. I'm using the table for leverage on this one. I'm going to twist it off. There's a flower. And what's really cool, sometimes you can use the back side. They kind of look like mums. So it really depends what style flower you're going for. I'm going to go for a poinsettia vibe today for Christmas. So I'm going to use a dark red. This is gloss enamels because I want them to be shiny. And just take a flat brush and paint all of the petals that are facing up. Don't worry about painting the back side, but do get the side and any of the petals facing up that might be showing from the front or side. So there's my first flower. I'm going to do a couple of them today to, again, test out different style flowers. And once you get a good first coat, let it dry. I did a darker red first because I'm going to do a brighter red then, also in the gloss enamels over top, mixed with a little bit of white. That's going to be our highlight layer. So I have most of my petals darker. I'm going to lightly brush on some of the main petals, the highlights. And once you have that in there, let that layer dry. I know it doesn't look dry because it's glossy, but then take a clean brush and brush on a layer of just the bright red. That's really going to make it pop and look more like a Christmas flower. But technically you could do whatever color you want. For the center of the flowers, I'm going to take a dark green and a light green together and just tap on that woody center there, the dark green. That's also going to give it a little bit more dimension and make it look like a real flower. So let's do a couple of those there. The texture really does look like a center of a flower too. Once they're dry, it's time to attach them to the ornament. Now, I'm going to use hot glue today. I haven't had any issues with that, but if you're going to sell them or if you want industrial strength, use something like E6000. So I'm taking some fake leaves I thought kind of looked like poinsettia leaves. I'm going to have the flower off center so the leaves are sticking out from the left, and then just use the hot glue and glue it to your ornament like that. There we go. Now that's just a generic looking flower. To make it festive for Christmas, I found this frosted greenery that had a little bit of sparkle. So I'm going to take a couple chunks of that. I think those berries are a little bit too big for this ornament, so we're just going to cut off a tiny slice of them. And just a tiny bit of hot glue, I'm going to attach them between the flower and the leaves. Gives it a little bit more dimension and a slightly different texture. There we go. Now for the center of the flower, I also want to add a little bit of sparkle by adding some gold beads. So I'm just taking a tiny craft brush and some ModPodge, and I'm dabbing it on the center of my flower where we put the green. And then just take a little handful of the beads. I'm going to pour them on over the glue before it dries. It goes on white, but it will dry clear, so you have a little bit of working time. Gonna just bunch them up there. Use your fingers to kind of move them around. There we go. And then when it dries, you're ready to hang it. Now, from Dollar Tree, I found this festive Christmas ribbon because I thought the gold and the red would go well with the gold beads and the red in the flower. All I did was I put that through the hole and tied a knot at the top. You could also do a bow if you wanted, make it your own. I'm just going to tie a simple knot at the top and then trim off the excess. You could leave the knot at the top, but I also like to move it around to the back of the ornament so you have a smooth ribbon all the way around. And that's how you make a simple pinecone flower ornament. A lot of you also suggested using twine for a more woodsy look, so it really depends how festive you want to get. Make it your own and have fun with this. They make great Christmas gifts as well. Can't wait to see if you try it. Have fun and happy painting, everybody.